honest, I sat here listening to this, thinking to myself, this is insane. You have a political organization, people should pay for the organization to keep it up and running. Assume for the moment that the people in your organization want to actually pay for this organization. What do you do after you get the money? Like, what does the organization do? For instance, this gentleman right here with the RPA, what do you do? Like, the question, assume for the moment that you have the cash that you need to run an organization and run a party. What do you do? How do you make it work?
In Georgia, we have a lawsuit, okay, that will get us ballot access, to get us ballot access, okay? Lawyers cost money, honey.
Yes.
They don't come for free, all right? We have a state legislature that meets and causes tremendous damage to the cause of working people in every state. You need somebody on the floor there.
Yes.
Okay, so that you just will get, somebody in the room, so that at least you get alerted to what the latest atrocities are.
I agree.
Because you can't find them out any other way.
I
You
agree.
need a staff person. You need event space. We're paying $1,000 for a place to accommodate, 80 or 90 people. And if you have that, then you can do fellowship, you can do friendship, you can do events every week. So these are just a few of the many. Oh, also, they have climate marches, marches against Monsanto, marches for science. All them people have paid staffs to do all that. You can't even have you have Greens showing up at other people's meetings, calling that political outrage, calling that green activism. Shit, nobody comes to our meetings because we can't okay? We got no staff to, so that's what you do with that money.
Yeah, and I think the point was made earlier, regardless of what you work out locally, around sliding scales or minimum dues or exemptions for low-income people in hardship situations, unemployed people, fundamental thing is make membership something of value.
Yeah.
You have the right to vote for elected leaders, you have the right to run for the steering committee, you have the right to make decisions about policy and what candidates are fielded. And it's not just an ad hoc, overly loosey-goosey pickup game or whoever comes to the meeting or makes it to hour 11 by the time the vote is taken. And I think in Richmond, we now have annual membership meetings, 100, 120 people show up to elect the steering committee for the next year. You have to renew your dues at the door to get into the meeting. And that makes membership mean something in a small but significant way. If you plug away at it, and I think also transparency. At our steering committee meetings, members can sit in as observers. They can't speak, make motions, they can't act like they're an elected steering committee, but they can watch. So there's a lot more openness. The bylaws, if you go to the RPA website, are kind of a model. They're not overly complicated, but they're formal enough so people feel they're part of an organization. They have some ownership over it and a voice in it.
Last question, ma'am.
I'm sorry I came in late. I don't know if this was covered. Two questions quickly. Who decides where the money goes in the green organization? Is it the state steering committee? Is it local groups? Is it, what would be the structure, the suggested structure? And I also agree with Howie about the fellowship element, and I feel like in New York, I've been talking about morale and bridging. 14 million people left the Democratic Party, and I don't think we're doing enough outreach with the Bernie people to keep them in the organization. I think we had a little honeymoon period with a section of them. I don't know if they're going to stay, and I wish there was more of the social thing. So who decides where the money goes?
Who decides where the money goes? Well, as Mr. Noonan pointed out, the Green Party is a federation or association of state parties.
Right.
So the authority is how you do this stuff on the state level and below. And so that would mean that you're not going to be collecting dues from people very long without giving them something for those dues and without giving them some transparency. It ain't going to work. It ain't going to last for long if you don't do those things.
Right. Okay.
My suggested structure is you have an assembly of members at periodic times. I would say more than annually, maybe quarterly or monthly, depends on local circumstances. And then they elect officers, a steering committee. Steering committee comes up with a budget, they bring it to the assembly for debate and adoption. I think that way the members have a right to some say.
Yeah.
You might have some hearings or, some notice that the steering committee's working on the budget for the next year. So rank and file get a say, but you got officers that are responsible. That would be the way I'd recommend it. You want to keep the members involved in the budget. It just, I think, solves a lot of problems. On the question of, the homeless, we got 1 in 10 kids in Syracuse schools are homeless at any one time. A lot of those people are living with relatives and they're jumping from couch to couch. It's just a question of housing affordability. So we have a lot of people that, like the Green Party, in my experience, they want to solve their own problems, get situated, and then we'll get involved. And so we've had people, who did that and then did get involved. On the other hand, if you got a homeless person who wants to give $100 to your campaign, I think that was the right decision. They hustled the money because they wanted to make a contribution and it meant something to them. I think you take their money and just honor their commitment. And somebody mentioned food stamps as a criteria. Damn, if we made that a criteria,
That's what I'm saying.
not many people in our city would be, they'd
I
all be
wasn't
waiting.
suggesting that.
Okay,
I
good.
hope you weren't insinuating that I was suggesting that, because I wasn't. What I was saying is that I don't want to have those kind of qualifiers. That's why I want a code of conduct.
An honor system.
An honor system, that's
Yeah,
right.
what we do
So
in New
please
York.
don't
and-
insinuate that, because it's offensive. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I agree. It would be a wrong criteria.
Thank you.
But what we have in New York is an honor system, and it's sliding scale due. So for about each quintile, it runs, it starts at 5 if you're low income a month, which is the old National Welfare Rights Organization ACORN amount, and it goes up to, I think by the time you get to 100,000, you're in the top quintile in New York. And you know who objected the most? It was the people in that top quintile, because they were paying a lot more money.
Oh.
And so, fine, we want to be a working class party anyway.
All right, it's 10 after.